And have something just in follow-up if you both could address. Is there, and Maggie, you can go first and we'll have a minute. Is there something between dismissal and prosecuting the case as it's presented to you from the police? Is there a happy medium in between if there's a problem with the case, or is there something that can be done to move forward with the case, but maybe not like it's presented, but not just to dismiss it?
Well, I guess there'd be a couple ways. One would be if that there's a determination that the facts and circumstances could qualify for another crime other than the one that the police officer originally arrested the individual for, that you could proceed under that charge. Furthermore, if it's such that there may seem more investigation, I refer back to the law enforcement agency that investigated the crime to make a determination as to whether or not other facts and circumstances may exist that would suggest that a crime is committed. So I guess primarily it would be the possibility of some type of lesser other offense other than what the police officer originally believed, or else further investigation. Thank you.
Mr. Weisel?
Well, I think that there's a lot of different options that you've got. But as far as the plea bargaining process, I think that in order to move cases along, you're going to have to always, on the lesser charges, consider the dismissal as part of the plea bargaining process. You could perhaps, always plead the case to perhaps something other than a Department of Corrections disposition or something like that.
Okay. That's the 8 questions that we've had. So we'll move on to your closing statements. We also have a coin flip for that. Mr. Wiseman won that coin flip and chose to go last. So Mr. Hartford, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Officer Danks. I'll be relatively brief. First, I would like to thank you again for holding this debate forum. Thank WTYE for broadcasting it. Thank all the members of the audience here for being present. Obviously, everyone knows that our electoral process is very important, and I appreciate everyone's presence and acknowledgement of that importance. And I would just ask everyone to consider, when they make a decision, who they think would be the best person to be the state's attorney. I believe that as the state's attorney, I can make our criminal justice system a fair, more effective, and more efficient process. And I would request that you vote for me on March 20th in the Republican primary. Thank you.
Mr. Wiseman.
In closing, I would like to, of course, ask everybody in attendance and listening on the radio to ask you for your vote to the Republicans in the upcoming primary election. I want to be your state's attorney for another 4 years. I believe I've done a solid job and deserve to be reelected. I have more experience as a prosecutor than my opponent. I'm the only candidate that has won a general election. I've done it twice. Beating the Democratic candidate, I think it's important to elect a strong Republican candidate now, as it could make a difference in the fall election. The state's attorney's office, as I've alluded to, is complicated and diversified, with many problems to be worked out. However, that all comes with the territory. I've shown that I can take the heat. I want to thank those people that are in attendance here in the courthouse tonight. I would also like to thank those listening on the radio. Thank you to WTYE for broadcasting this on the radio. I'd like to thank the Fraternal Order of Police for sponsoring this debate. And I also want to thank all the persons who let me put my yard sign in their yard and have at their house and at their businesses, and tell those who voted for me in the past that I appreciate it, and I ask for your vote in the upcoming primary election. And of course, last, I'd like to thank my wife, Amanda, and daughter, Sarah, for putting up with me during these trying periods of a person's life. And thank you for your help with the campaign, and to my parents who are also here tonight. Thank you.
Okay, well, I would like, on behalf of the Fraternal Order of Police, I would like to thank all of you for coming too. I'd like to thank WTYE for broadcasting this. I think that's a great thing. Please get involved, take ownership of your community, get involved in the electoral process, and use the information that we've provided as part of your guide in that process. So with that, we'll conclude. Thanks again, everybody, for coming out.